Okay, turn 27. We are launching the attack upon the Relayan areas of the lake, and we have confirmed, by the way, that Relay is doing just fine. Obviously, they've taken that fortress, and they are now invading Erytheia's land territories. So, in Spires of Ascension, a fairly large chaffy army of Relay, not as chaffy as it could be, actually. They've got a lot of void summons, so they got these vile things. They've got these lesser othernesses, which just regenerate and otherwise are not impressive, but do trample. They also have several othernesses and greater othernesses, which are, once again, regenerating tramplers. Greater othernesses are actually quite dangerous, because they regenerate on 90 hit points, and they're size 6 tramplers. Plus, of course, they're mindless and with good magic resistance and all that stuff. So, they've got their chaff, Dreamers, and Mad Ones. Dreamers have high magic resistance and a dagger attack. Mad Ones have a claw or fist attack and very, very low magic resistance and are magic beings, but mindless, so they're immune to a lot of astral spells. So, kind of an interesting little contradiction there. And this is Christine, the Uttervast. Christine has Earth 4, Astral 7, Nature 7, and I don't actually see their Bless right now because their Star Spawn here, they do have Star Spawn, but the Star Spawn are not blessed, despite being sacred, which is weird, because their god is in the battle, and the god should be blessing everyone, I thought. Possibly it's outside their... oh, it must be outside their domain. So it's not auto-blessing. And they're spamming a whole lot of Mind Burn and Far Strike and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, a relatively small Erytheian force, led by several Dadukos, is just spamming out some Fire Elementals. The Dadukos have high enough magic resistance that they are basically immune to being Mind Burn, since they brought this Mystic to cast Anti-Magic to buff up everybody's magic resistance. So the Mind Burn isn't killing them. It is killing the Heavy Infantry. Actually, I guess he didn't cast Anti-Magic. I guess they all just individually cast Resist Magic. Oh, okay, fair. So the Fire Elementals go in. Their forces are just routed, essentially. But the Fire Elementals do inflict quite a lot of damage. They burn through a good bit of the chaff. None of the othernesses, unfortunately, but a lot of the chaff. And a lot of the non-slave chaff actually do rout, although they don't make it off the field before the enemy flees. So, Relay lost about 100 chaff. Now, it's all garbage chaff that they don't care about. They've got these hybrids. They've got these Deep One Dreamers, which are free spawn. Free spawn, free spawn, free spawn. They lost 2 Slave Guardians, which are not free spawn, but are very, very cheap slaves. And they lost 7 Long Dead, which they must have summoned from somewhere. However, they killed a Dadukos, a Makimos Commander, and 17 Heavy Infantry, and that is actually worth more than all the free spawn they lost. Like, killing this guy alone makes that worth it. So, yeah, Relay is kicking the crap out of Erytheia right now. I got to see Man's God, which was lucky. Man's God is... I was worried he was some kind of a rainbow. He's not. He's a dragon. He's just a Nature 5 dragon. So, that's good. Now, he might have some rainbow paths, because in human form... because in dragon form, he takes a penalty to his paths, which can hide paths if he has them at a very low level. So he might have level 1 or 2 in a variety of other paths. That said, this makes me less scared about selling a Flame Helmet 2-man. I might go through with it. I might just go through with it. Because I know he's not like Fire 4. If he was Fire 4 or something, then I'd be like, well, if I sell him a Flame Helmet, that will kick him up so that he can forge all of his... or if he was Fire 3 even. He's not Fire 3. He could be Fire Death Crosspath, but that would be hugely expensive with a dragon. So this guy costs a lot for other paths, so I'm thinking the Flame Helmet may actually not hurt him all that much. But Harmless Rainbow, or help him all that much, rather. May not hurt me all that much. But Harmless Rainbow Butterfly clears the province very, very easily. I lost a lot of scouts. I lost 4 scouts this turn, which is fine. They are there to die. I got plus 10 defense in Divine Ocean, which kicked it up to 16, which is kind of neat. And I lost all of my taxes out of Grey Mountains, which is unfortunate, because that's a significant sum of money. And as I said, my Laestrygonians are attacking Relay. I took this province, as agreed, Alluvia. And you can see that Clytius, the Laestrygonian tyrant, did just fine. Tempered Flesh, Ironed Will, Summoned Earth Power, Iron-Skinned, and then he went in. He is getting hit because Relay's Province Defense contains Illithid Lords, which have a Mind Blast. Fun fact, this also means, since the game considers these guys to be a mage, it also means that Relay's Province Defense always triggers gem usage, which is hilariously irritating. But he's throwing Mind Blasts, and they're just bouncing off. With Magic Resistance 31, no dice. Nothing doing. And so Phlegra moves in, and he starts just stabbing the crap out of Illithids, and they're just dying and dying and suffering and fleeing and dying. And he tries to chase them down, but he is very slow. I think this Illithid, yeah, this Ichthyid has a limp now, so he chases that one down and kills him. And that's that. That's the province taken. So, good going, Phlegra. Phlegra only gained 14 experience for that, because he only killed 12 people. And Enceladus has killed 29 people, of course. Enceladus site searched here and found the Basalt Plateau, so I'm up to 10 Earth per month. That is fantastic. I'd like to have more fire, but I do have 8 fire per month, counting Enceladus. So Ialmenos has 10 fire gems right now. He's going to site search. He's set to retreat, just in case he's attacked by these guys. And then he's going to kind of fall back and hit up a lab and drop those things off. But yeah, we're doing, overall, we are doing just fine. Once again, a little bit concerned about this whole situation. Like this situation. I know they can't beat me, because I'm still seeing the army. It's the same army. I know they can't beat my Laestrygonians, but I'm like, you better not try to come in my lake, buddy. Like, really, really don't try it. Enceladus, I have given these Ichthyids, who are kind of standing around behind him, and Enceladus, I'm actually going to shift Enceladus forward and put all these guys in a different squad so that he'll be the target, because he should still be able to get through most of his script before he fights anybody. And he'll be going on a rampage. I may lose a few of the Ichthyids, but that's fine. He's going to go up here, this guy's going to go up there, and then we're going to go. So that's next turn. Then boop, boop, and they're going to meet up at the Sacred Lake in 3 turns, which should be plenty of time to do what I need to do. And this is a gorge and a deep sea, so this should have hella magic sites. And Alluvia should hopefully have some magic sites as well. So Ialmenos is searching. He's going to swing back down. Actually, he may... I'm going to pop through there, grab that. I'm moving up Iontes, who is carrying the other ring of water breathing. Iontes is going to hop up this way and go into Alluvia. So actually, Iontes, can you get there in 1 turn? You cannot. Okay, so yeah, go to Grey Mountains, through Trensibor and into Alluvia to site search there. We're going to site search this whole lake up and rock and roll. We're going to keep moving with it. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with this situation. I'm kind of waiting. They didn't attack this turn like I expected them to. Like, I had anticipated that Pan would attack this turn, but they didn't. They decided to kind of hold off on it for now, which is fair. Like, I understand them doing that. They're waiting, I think, for these guys to show up. So next turn will be the moment of truth. I'll have Kaifos and my army. My army is outnumbered only by a fairly small margin by this army, since they did rehire their mercenaries, but they don't have any of the others. So only outnumbered by a little bit. They do have some Stymphalian birds. In terms of crossbow power, I think I'm equal to them, if not greater, because look, that's 70 units, of which 20 are archers, so 50 crossbows. 87 crossbows. I've got over 160 crossbows. 63 infantry, or 68 infantry, actually. I'm just gonna tell you what, I can't swap those over. Okay, that's fine. Put those in that squadron, actually. So I've got a decent grip of infantry. And I've got my 13 Mouflon Cataphracts. Incidentally, I've set my mages up just to see if this works. We're going to cast Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants on these Mouflon Cataphracts. And then we're going to spam Gift of Flight on them, which will give 2 of them the ability to fly. So we're gonna spam Gift of Flight on those Mouflon Cataphracts, and we have them set to hold and attack rear. So they should, hopefully that means at least 4 and hopefully 6 or 8 of them will hop into the back lines to cause chaos, which should help me out. I've also, of course, got Kaifos, and so Kaifos, Temper Flesh, Iron Will, Fire Shield, that's important to counteract Swarm and things like that. Earth Power, Iron Skin, and attack rear. He's set way down on the side, and I'm moving in Sethon with a few more troops. So I feel like at that point I could probably beat this army. But, of course, if I fight that army, whether I beat it or not, I have then declared war on Pangea. Now, Pangea is not terribly... does not look, at least, to be terribly, terribly dangerous. But, of course, when it comes to Pangea, that is always deceptive, because Pangea has so much stealth. Their satyrs are stealthy. Satyr hoplites are not. Their centaur cataphracts are not either. So, I mean, Lady Pangea has less stealth than any other Pangea, but they do all still have all these guys that are stealthy, not Stymphalian birds. Harpies are stealthy, and their regular satyrs are stealthy. Centaur sages, thank God, are not stealthy, but dryads are. And so are pans. So, it's a question. That said, I guess here's my main issue. I've got to expand, and I've got to expand rapidly. Taking the lake, great move. I'm up to 20 provinces, so I'm not doing bad, but like look at Atlantis here. I moved just a little further. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I assume 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So Atlantis is beating me just in the provinces I know of, and I'm sure they have a few more out here as well. So, yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried about Atlantis, and of course I'm worried about man. I could technically fight Atlantis now. I can't reach man without going through Pangea, and so I'm gonna need to go through Pangea. Like, that has to happen. I also need to take out Abysia at some point, and Abysia is definitely struggling, definitely having trouble, so pouncing on them would also be a good idea. But my army's down here by Pangea already, so I think I might as well go in on them. My next Laestrygonian might go after Abysia if it looks like the Pangea situation is under control. But I'm thinking I'm gonna give it one more turn, and if they take Ulm, I'll reassess. But if they don't take Ulm, I think I'm gonna go in and try to take Ulm myself, because my Laestrygonian, Kaifos can do that, and if he dies, he dies, and he'll come back as a white mage, and he'll be a really powerful, effective caster. So that will actually be okay if I lose him. I didn't twice board either of these guys yet, which is a little bit of a problem, but at the same time, I'm not too super worried about them dying. I'm trying to think of what could kill them, and the only thing I can think of that could kill them would be potentially Christine, right now, that I could realistically be attacked by at the moment. Potentially Christine, but Christine is quite a long ways away. Now, of course, Christine, actually, I tell a lie. Christine can teleport to anywhere in the world instantaneously. So, Christine can just be there. But Christine has the Mind Blast attacks, which paralyze, but they're negated by magic resistance. And Christine has the Steel Strength attacks, but they're also negated by magic resistance. So, my Laestrygonians have very high magic resistance. So high that, especially if I cast Iron Will round 1, which I should definitely do, I should actually change my scripting real quick to account for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The odds are that they can go around taking no damage from Christine, because Christine's attacks just don't work on them. The Mind Blasts, the Stealing Strength, just not effective against people with magic resistance in the high 20s or low 30s. And then if they get to strike back, Christine has 4 protection, can of course cast Iron Skin, so let's call it 20 protection, and 64 hit points. Well, and it's ethereal, so magical attacks are the only ones that reliably affect her. Well, my Snake Tresses, I get 5 attacks at 15 damage. And then I also have the Sword of Swiftness in the case of Clytius, which does 40 magical damage and hits twice per round. So it's perfectly expectable that Clytius, for example, could kill Christine outright in about 2 rounds. Enceladus, paradoxically, Enceladus might take an extra round or 2, because his Firebrand only hits once and does slightly less damage, but then it also has the AoE effect. Anyway, you see my point. Christine cannot reliably fight my Laestrygonians, like, in any way. It's not realistic to fight the Laestrygonians. So we're going to go Iron Will, Temper Flesh, Earth Power, and then Iron Skin. Where's my Iron Skin gone? Iron Skin. And over here, we're also gonna get him Iron Willed up first. So we're gonna go, where is it? Iron Will, Temper Flesh, Earth Power, Iron Skin. Great. There we go. So yeah, if Christine teleports on top of one of my Laestrygonians, I think I win. I think the Laestrygonian just straight up beats her. Because 27 magic resistance or 26 magic resistance, I'm sorry, 31 or 26 magic resistance, either way, odds are Christine is not going to land a hit. Now, if Christine does land a paralyzing hit, that would be very bad. But even then, I have pretty good shots of recovering because once my magic resistance is still super high. So I don't feel too bad about this. I mean, Christine could raid my provinces back behind the Laestrygonian tyrants, but I'll recruit another tyrant, probably starting next turn. And just move on. Just straight up move on. So I'm not worried about that. And I think I can still be relatively cordial with Relay even after taking over his lake, potentially. Probably not, but a man can dream. Now the interesting thing, of course, is that Atlantis is not, in fact, fighting Relay, which is worrisome. Or if he is, only in a very desultory manner. So, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about that. The other concerning thing, of course, is that Atlantis has 1, 2, 3 thrones within easy grabbing distance. There's another throne right here that Atlantis would have to go through Ragha to get. And then, of course, there is the other thrones. There's that throne right here, which he can't get without going through me, because my Laestrygonian tyrants are coming to take the Sacred Lake. So, it'll be interesting to see what Atlantis decides to do in this situation. But for me, for right now, I am just prepping up to attack Pan if necessary, taking the lake, and moving forward with my research. I'll hit construction level 6 in 2 turns. After that, I will go down alteration to alteration level 7 for Phoenix Pyre. And in fact, let's just script that right there. So, that will be the plan, and I will see you next turn. Okay, folks, it's turn 28, and this is the big news of the turn. We are actually going in to try and destroy Pangea's army and steal Ulm for ourselves. Now, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm sending in Kaifos. He is Twiceborn, and because I have Lemnos here, Lemnos can cast Iron Will on him, because Iron Will is actually an AoE 1 spell, so it can be cast, and it should be targeted on Kaifos, since Kaifos is the biggest to target. Now, unfortunately, Kaifos does already have high magic resistance, so gonna have to be, yeah, gonna have to be, like, kind of careful about it. Like, cast it 3 times, and hopefully one of them will hit Kaifos. I'll cast it twice, and then we're gonna cast Gift of Flight. So, Kaifos, and let's actually, I am gonna script Iron Will for Kaifos as well. He'll skip it if it's not, if he doesn't need it. So, Iron Will, I've already got Temper Flesh, Iron Will, Summon Earth Power, and then Fire Shield. And then Iron Skin is what he needs. Iron Skin. And then Attack Rear. And he should be flying, because the Gift of Flight should have gone on to him by that point. So, the way my army is set up, we've got Kaifos up here on the flank behind the Mouflon Cataphracts. We've got a large line of archers, archers, archers. A little bit of infantry in the back, a little bit of infantry in the front in a double line, actually. I could set them into a line formation, but they'd cover the whole field, and I want the cavalry to be able to run past them. I've got this infantry in the rear to try and prevent the enemy from dropping Stymphalian birds all over my... Actually, I'm going to move my Communion slaves ahead of my rear line of archers. Basically, I want any Stymphalian birds that drop down to have at least some kind of competition. And the iron... The Helot soldiers are not very vulnerable to the Stymphalian birds' attacks, so they should be able to do a little bit of something here. What I actually do want to do, though, is I think I'll move more Helot soldiers back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll take those up in the front line instead. These pale ones, I don't care if they die, they're just garbage chaff. Morale, very low, because, of course, I am in hostile dominion, and so the morale of my slave soldiers is pretty much nothing. But But Kaifos here should, even with his buffs, Kaifos should go berserk at some point as the army begins to crumble, and as long as he goes berserk before the army is gone, I'll be alright. Now, there is one problem with the way I've been building these Laestrygonian tyrants that I have to talk about, which is that while the Shroud gives them regeneration, which is really good, and Kaifos specifically has a Ring of Regeneration to have double regeneration, so he's regenerating 18 hit points a turn, they are still hurtable. Their protection is relatively low because they're wearing a Shroud of the Battle Saint instead of real armor. And what that means is they can die. They can be killed because I don't have Alt 7 yet, so they can't cast the spells that make them immortal. They can't cast Soul Vortex yet. They can't cast Phoenix Pyre. So Kaifos might be killed here. If he gets totally surrounded and overwhelmed, he'll die. Just through chip damage. Now, 16 or 18 regeneration per turn means it'll have to be a lot of chip damage, but it is still possible. That's why I've twice-borned him. Since he is twice-born, if he dies, I'll just get a really powerful mage back in this fort right here, and that'll be fine. So, that's the plan. He's going in. I am recruiting another Laestrygonian up here in order to fulfill my deal with Man to sell them a flaming helmet. We worked out there was some confusion about what turn exactly that was supposed to be. We've hammered that out, so I'm recruiting that Laestrygonian. Then he's going to forge the flame helmet and then ship it off. He's actually probably going to forge me another flame helmet as well because I need one too. Up here, my Laestrygonians continue rampaging through Relay's territory, and they're going to carry on that rampage, just charging around at the speed of sound, taking things out. Unrest is, of course, very high because he's been pillaging for several turns, and that also means the population is very low, even lower than it would otherwise be. Ialmanos is going to carry these fire gems back. I actually don't need them right now, so I think I might move Ialmanos forward in order to... in order to keep site searching as fast as possible. Found the Basalt Plateau, that was pretty good. Yeah, let's move Ialmanos forward. Because we've got this fortress. We'll take that fortress with the Gigantes. Oh, also, Enceladus now has lightning reflexes, so his defense skill is higher. Yay! It's not very useful for a berserker, but I mean, it's something. And Clytius. Clytius will end up a hero at some point. Enceladus is a hero despite not having much experience. If we look at the Hall of Fame, in fact, we've got Enceladus in there. We've got this neutral throne defender. We've got a couple of mercenaries. We've got a couple of elves. We've got the Last Conquistador. And we've got this so-called judge, who is dead. Hats off for this so-called judge. So, doing pretty well. Pretty good on territory. Okay on income, although not great on income because we're bad at having income. And our capital is destroyed. And we're making progress. Recruiting mages still in most of our forts, albeit we had to cut back some because Laestrygonians cost the earth. We're searching for more nature sites. We lost this province to a vampire rebellion, the Second Forest. A well-known count has revealed himself as a vampire and taken over the province, and they just massacred our province defense. I'll just move in my god to deal with this, frankly. It'll take, like, a turn or two. Vampires and vampire counts, they can't stop a regenerating Drakon, so he'll just cruise in there and kill them all. And we're casting Augury. We're moving Iontes over this way in order to go into Alluvia and keep site searching for Earth and Astral sites. And overall, things are going pretty well. We've got a lot of neutral commanders for reasons that I don't fully understand. I just recruited them at different times, and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but now I've got, like, 10, and I can't really use them for much, so... And we're forging another lead shield here in order to fit out our kit. We've also got this Red Dragon Scale Mail. So this Red Dragon Scale Mail will be very, very valuable for sending Laestrygonians against Pangea. In this one situation, I'm sending Kaifos without it, but what I really want is I want to have super, super high morale so that Seduction has no chance to succeed. Seduction is a morale roll of, I think, 9 against your morale, and against 15, that is an unnervingly high percentage. So I need to keep Kaifos in with large armies, and I need to, so that he has a bunch of other commanders who can potentially be seduced, and I need to ensure that he can, of course, survive assassinations, which he can. I mean, swarm assassins cannot possibly kill Kaifos. He regenerates too much, and he has too many attacks. He'll kill the bugs very quickly. So, that's the turn, and we'll see. I don't know how this fight is going to go. I have a much smaller army, but I have Kaifos. And I think as long as my troops can clear out a significant fraction of the enemy chaff, and in particular as long as I can kill off some of their crossbows, I think I can win. I've got all my guys set to hold and fire at archers, which the crossbows at least should be able to do. So I'm trying to wipe out the crossbowmen as quickly as possible, because if Kaifos ends up surrounded by satyrs, I think he'll be okay. I think he can chew through them. If he ends up being fired at close range by 100 crossbows, he'll start taking damage very, very rapidly, and that will kill him faster than anything else. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any gems because of a huge failure of planning on my part. I was waffling too much over whether I was going to do this, and so I didn't put any gems on this army, and that might doom me, because if I had gems, I could be casting Wind Guide, I could be casting Curse of Stones, I could absolutely be casting Curse of Stones. I've got Earth Gems for days, I've got Earth income. I could be casting, I think I could be casting Flaming Arrows. Yeah, I could be casting Flaming Arrows to make my crossbows way more effective. In fact, it's almost enough to make me want to wait one more turn just to get gems. But if I do that, then this army is going to be inside Ulm, where I don't think there's a whole lot of resistance left. And then digging them out will be a huge, huge problem. Because they'll have enough siege defense. Like, my siege strength is 374. Well, actually, the Stymphalian birds have, well, they have actually okay siege defense. Dryad Hoplites, Satyrs, most of their army is Satyrs. Satyrs have actually bad siege defense because they're undisciplined. I could go over here and just bust the fort in Forest of the Lost. I could do that. My other thing is, if I keep this army sitting here, I'm worried that I'll be seduced, because Pangea is now... Pangea has talked to me, and Pangea has become increasingly suspicious, and they think that I'm going to attack them. So... oh, it's a hard call. It is a hard, hard call. It's a hard knock life for us. What I am going to do is move all these guys down here to provide extra seduction targets. And... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 right now. Yeah, okay. What we're going to do is this. We're going to move all our slaves in as well. And we're going to take... I don't have any air gems, so I can't take any air gems. We're going to take some fire and earth gems. I could alchemize some air gems out of water gems or something. We're going to alchemize up some air gems so that we can cast Wind Guide. And we're going to take them as well. Just a couple. And we're going to wait one more turn, and then we're going to go in with actual mech. See, I really want to catch this army early, but it is a hard, hard call. I really don't know what's the best plan here. Because, like, if I just want to... like, destroying this army is a valid strategy, trying to just break this army. But this army is actually going to take a lot of damage taking Ulm, and the other thing I could do is, like I said, just go into Forest of the Lost and take that. Oof. Because there's, like, very little by way of defense there. Erytheia is going down. They're yelling timber. It's over for them. I think I might just go into Forest of the Lost, to be honest. Like, this is my only army as well. I don't, because I've been recruiting Laestrygonians, so I have very little by way of troops besides that. I have some troops up here, but of course they can't get across the rivers. So what I need to do is gather a few units as well. I need to gather these units over here in the Mountains of Mist. I've got a few. Yeah, I can gather about 40-50 units, and I could also send these two guys, although I can't crush my research. That'll take me 2 turns to get construction 6 anyway. Move those 2 guys over there. That will give me a little bit of a functional communion. That will help. Nora is site searching. Okay. And let's get like 3 of these guys also moving already. Don't have any troops for them, but they'll just move towards the front. Okay, I think that is the strategy, actually. And then these guys, these 4, Kos and Igalips, actually, since they're about to take a fort, they'll get some gems in that fort. So drop all of those. You two just research for now. You four guys, yeah, move down there and then move up that way. And we'll see what happens. I think this is how it has to go, probably, because I was waffling back and forth on whether I was going to fight Pangea, but from discussions with josieLOL, I think we're going to end up in a war right now anyway. And I've talked with Man, and Man's agreed to go in against Pangea with me, so hopefully my goal here is to take these forts before Man can get to them. Man might get Pangea, but once I've done that, then I can isolate Ulm and destroy Ulm with Laestrygonians. Won't be too much of a problem. And of course, as soon as I hit Construction 6, we're booking it down Alt, and we should get those immortality spells rocking. And that would be great. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 29.